All right, welcome back to another episode of Everything Canada Soccer, episode number 24. Let's go. Once
Yep,
again, it's me, Jamal. Felipe in the house. How you doing, Felipe?
I'm doing good, man. Thanks for asking. How are you doing,
Yeah,
Jamal?
I'm doing all right. I mean, we're down one member today. Jordy's busy with work and school, so we're just gonna pick up the slack a little bit here and try to get an
Yep.
episode in. Lots to talk about. Lots happening in the next couple days and weeks. On the Canada soccer side. Today we're just gonna basically talk about the lineup and the two games we have for the CONCACAF Nations League. Felipe, excited to talk about that today.
Yeah, for sure. So we're playing Curaçao first, right, and Honduras after.
Away, yeah, yeah. So
So I
Curacao
guess
away on the 25th, and the 28th it'll be in Toronto against Honduras. So
yeah,
it's
I
gonna be an
think I
interesting.
think that Curacao it's not going to be much of a challenge. It's gonna be good for Herdman
I
to
agree.
try some new players, some new call ups that we're gonna go over soon. And I think that against Honduras, that's where the challenge will be. I still think we're gonna win, but um, it is not the easiest team. Many times that we didn't make to the World Cup, they were there. So it's definitely a team that's gonna
Honduras,
give us, yeah, Honduras for
yeah,
sure. So it's
yeah,
definitely a team that's gonna give us a hard time.
and yeah, they've qualified for the World Cup multiple times. But just saying, this game against Honduras in Toronto, the last time we played in Toronto is when we qualified for the World Cup. So lots of good omens there. So hopefully we
Yeah,
can stick on that. And yeah, just looking at the lineups here, like I'm like trying to just kind of go over them before we get into some more details. But yeah, there's a lot of options here. Not so much in midfield, but we got some great defensive options. So lots of
yeah. I put it.
yeah.
I
Here we
put
go.
the list up, Jamal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So yeah, let's take a look here.
I honestly
Um,
think that starting from the goalies, to be honest, Tom McGill is a surprise. He plays for Brighton on their under 20. So he is a player that most likely it's going to be playing the Premier League. I think it's good to
yeah,
give him a cap, especially because I don't know if he's a dual citizen, but
that's
we're
what I
having
was
a lot
thinking
of
too.
players. Yeah, recently we had Luca Coleocho, which he was called by Herdman, but he never played for Canada. He just got called for Italy under 20, which is
Hmm.
okay if they're playing under 20, like they are not going to miss their eligibility for pro, but it gets a step closer to changing nations, right? So bringing a guy like him in, maybe even giving him minutes if that's the case. Against Curaçao, for example, he could definitely play 45 minutes Dane Sinclair, 45 minutes Tom McGill, and then Tom McGill will be fully eligible for Canada.
Yeah, that's what I
So
was thinking. Like with Tom McGill as well. If he could get a game in against Curacao, that'll give him sort of like the exposure he needs. Especially this is a pretty high level game. You know, we're talking about this
yeah,
Nations League, so lots of opportunities for lots of players who are up and coming in up and coming roles in different leagues across the world. Like I'm looking at all the like we're pretty spread out across some pretty decent leagues when it comes to our players. We're
so you
not
think
just really based in like North America, but yeah.
I was gonna say for the goalies, do you think that the only one that I'm a bit salty is just it's Miliborian? Like I hope that he will be in shape for the World Cup. I think that for goalkeepers, they age a bit different than field like turf players,
Of
like
course,
pitch players. So let's say
yeah,
this way,
of course.
and I feel like he might be in shape, so it's okay. I honestly feel that Maxime Crepeau will be there. It's just he had that nasty injury before the World Cup. So in this case, I think that it's okay to have Milan Borjan, but I don't know. I don't know if he's gonna be,
Okay,
or
hold
goalie
that
for
thought.
2026.
Hold that thought because this is a good kind of transition where I want to go in. So you're unsure on Borjan. I'm sort of thinking for the World Cup, and you mentioned Borjan being fit for the World Cup. I'm sort of thinking now we sort of have to have sort of an understudy, sort of somebody up and coming where they can now look to start taking the reins. So I'm looking at the run up to the World Cup. Thank God there's no qualifying this time, but the run up to the World Cup, I'd like to see some young or upcoming um, goalkeepers challenge Borjan for the spot because, as you said, they do age differently. But I'd like to see a younger goalkeeper start showing us something.
What are your thoughts on the list of defenders right there that Herdman
Now, yeah,
spot?
like I said in the intro, like lots of great options for defense. It kind of really does excite me. But yeah, let me take a little look here. So honestly, I'm thinking the same thing. I think I just said for keepers, where it was like I think it'll be good to give some lesser players some exposure. So I'm thinking for Steven Vittoria to sort of get in the game, and obviously Scott Kennedy, I think would be a good option. Let me just see the club list here again. So yeah, like the players who are playing who aren't
Scott
basically in the bigger
Kennedy
teams.
Scott Kennedy is playing, I think, second division in Germany. I
Yeah,
think that he missed the World Cup with an injury. It's good. He's left-footed, same as Derek Cornelius, which is playing Malmo,
yeah,
Sweden right now. They're both left-footed.
and
Kamal
Dominic,
Miller's left-footed, right? So I think that those
yeah,
will
and
be the
Zator,
no, Zator is right-footed, but Zator will be a,
yeah,
a good task replacement for Victoria because I don't think Victoria, like he's probably 36, 37 for a defender. He's already slow. I don't know if he'll be in shape for 2026. So looking at Dominic Zator is it's a good, good
yeah. I
player
see your
to
point.
test. He's right-footed. It's about the same height, I think. So they should be able to fill in the same spot. Uh,
Yeah,
Alistair Johnson, Rich Larea, they're kind of the same position. And then I
yeah,
guess if we
and then
play with
added
a
Coupe.
line of three, yeah, if we play with a line of three, Samuel, at the Cube might come on the second half. He's playing for Galatasaray right now, which is a big club. I
Yeah,
think
of
they're
course.
leading the Turkish league. But midfielders, what are your thoughts on the list?
Midfielders, I think it's a pretty. I would say they went with a safe route.
Yeah,
There's no real surprises there. Like there were maybe Mark Anthony K was a bit of a surprise, but other than
Loturi
that,
is a
these
big
are like.
surprise.
I mean,
Victor,
sure. This when did he get his first start? I'm not really sure on that. He's
he
playing for
never got
Ross
called.
County.
That's his
Oh, this is
first
his first call. Oh, wow, news for
his
me
first
too.
call up. So him and
Oh, right
Dominic
on.
Zator both first call up, both started
Yeah.
at Calgary FC, right, in the CPL. So that's huge for the league too. That's pretty
Okay.
good. Victor Loturi is playing for Scottish Premiership, Ross
Yeah, he's
County.
in
Uh,
Ross
and
County.
he's actually getting minutes, which is good.
That's kind of where
But
he's sort of come up. And I think it's a
yeah,
great league, especially if he wants to go to the some of the bigger teams in Europe.
same league as Alistair Johnson, right? Alistair Johnson actually
Yeah.
scored a goal recently. Um, cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Loturi and he can be a box to box kind of like midfielder right there, similar to Kone.
Very
He's a bit
young.
shorter.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's a
I was
bit
about
shorter,
to
but
say
he's
that.
really
Like
fast.
Conte too. He has that kind of engine room sort of vibes. So we'll see what he can do. He just maybe has to work on his
Atiba, I'll be completely
physical game.
honest. I don't think Atiba will be 43, 44 at the World Cup. Um, I don't think he's gonna play. With all the respect, he's barely getting minutes in Besiktas, so I don't know what
Yeah,
he's doing there. Maybe it's like passing the torch, you know what I mean, to a new captain and kind of
that's
like
exactly
moving
what I
on.
was thinking. Yeah,
I think
like
it's
just
out
sort
of
of see
respect.
how
You know what
these
I mean?
guys do it.
I think it could be out of respect, right? He retires in Toronto, maybe. I don't know, like something like that. But I truly don't. I don't know, man. I don't like that because he's taking the spot of a potential player that could be tested. That's
I
younger.
already know
That's
what's gonna
actually
happen
being
though with
good.
him. So
Yeah.
basically, I think he's gonna go into a coaching role with the national team. He's gonna have some sort of role within the bigger
That'll be
Canadian
awesome. Like
soccer.
in terms of
Yeah,
yeah, I think in terms of leadership, it's great
that's
for
what I
the
see
team, and
happening.
I think it's great for him too. He's just as a player, with all the respect, like even what we watch in the past World Cup, it's just he needs to be in good shape, and I think that's tough. You know what I mean? He had a beautiful career. Just don't know if that's going to be the player that's going to be there for us as a defensive midfielder that we need. Eustáquio, on the other hand, is having a great season in Porto, so that's a good
Yeah,
thing. Now forwards, what are your thoughts
another
on the list
very
of
good
forwards?
league.
Yeah,
Forwards.
exactly.
Now, honestly, there are some. I think. Are we gonna say this? He left out some players here that we. Is there anyone he left out here that we think he should have left out or should have
And
not left out?
look, like that is always going to be there is always going to be questions, right? Like that is the kid that's playing for Nashville, that's Canadian, Schafflersburg or something like that. I don't know how to say his last name. He's
Okay.
having a great start. There is also a defender that's from Winnipeg, man, that's playing for South Lake, that scored a goal this MLS season right now. He's a defender. He's could be a good option for Canada as well. He wasn't called, but I
Which
think
is in
that in this
MLS.
new cycle, we're gonna play, the Nations League, the Gold Cup, the Copa America, a bunch of friendlies. I think that we're gonna have tons of opportunities to try new players. So I can critique a coach for bringing in players like Brem or like Akinola or Loturi. You know what I mean? Just
Akinola, I'm
not.
not surprised. I'm not surprised because Akinola basically is the direct replacement for Junior Hoylett. And I don't know if Junior Hoylett is going to be fit for the
No, I
World
don't
Cup.
think
I
so.
hope he will be. I hope he will be. But
Yeah,
injuries have plagued his most part of his career. Um, so he might be injured right now.
yeah.
But
So
yeah,
yeah, I think that Akinola it's a test. You know what I mean? It's
it
gonna be a
is. It
test
is
at
a big
a
one.
competitive level, and then we'll see how that goes, right? So for the game against Curacao, what is your starting lineup, Jimmy?
But with goalkeepers, as I might have already mentioned, I'm gonna go for the game against Curaçao. I'm gonna have McGill against Curaçao, and then Borjan against Honduras. What do you have?
I will have Tom McGill against Curacao too, like I said, to make sure he's eligible for Canada, and then Milan Borjan. No, actually, yeah, I'll start Milan Borjan against Honduras as well.
Okay.
I would have Danny Sinclair coming on the half against Honduras, but against Curacao, sorry, but Curacao McGill's my pick.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay, now with the I don't know what formation you're thinking Herdman's gonna go with. He did really experiment with the three at the back during the qualifying run, but kind of switched
Yeah,
it up at the World Cup. I think he's playing more of a five at the back for the most part
yeah.
during the World Cup. But I'm gonna go just because looking at all the defenders, I have to guess he's going with a back five again. But then again, also Davies does play up front, so I think for my center back, should we start with center backs?
Sure, yeah.
I'm gonna go with Scott Kennedy and Dominic Zator to start against Curacao.
Okay.
Who are you gonna go with for center backs?
So um, I'm gonna respect the line of three, and I'm going to play Dominic Sator, Alistair Johnson, and Kamal Miller on the back line as a line of three. And then
Interesting. So
I'm
you're
gonna,
going with Herdmans.
yeah,
Okay. So yeah, I have my two center backs. So I have, and this is against Curacao, and then I'm gonna go with Alistair Johnston and probably Alistair Johnston. This is gonna be tough, and then Samuel Adekugbe as my two sort of wing backs. So
yeah.
we'll have and then obviously I'll throw Kamal Miller in there. So you have the three center backs, Kamal Miller, in the middle, Scott Kennedy, Zator, and then flanked by Adekugbe and Johnston. That's defense.
Cool.
Why don't you start us off with your midfield? Or have you finished your defense? Sorry.
No, mine is just Kamal Miller,
Oh, it's the back
Zator in
three.
the middle,
Yeah.
is the back three, and then if we move to midfielders, I will have for the game against Curacao, I will have
Mhm.
Mark Anthony, Kone, Loturi, and then on the right wing, I'll have Buchanan. On the left wing, I'll have Davis. That's kind of like my
I mean, wait,
midfield.
you're kind of skipping ahead there, but yeah, I know what you mean.
I'm not following their call, right? Because technically, if we're
Yeah.
gonna put a 3-5-2, the wingers are going to be
So
forwards
you think
there, which
about
is
one,
Buchanan and
one. You
Davis.
think about one striker.
And Davis is not a forward anywhere. He doesn't play forward. He's a left back. He's a winger. You
Yeah,
call him
he's a
whatever,
winger.
but he's
Yeah.
not a forward, right?
I mean, he can
Uh,
play. He can play number 10 for Canada. Come on,
I get it. It's just
let's just say
no, I get
that
it, but
he can.
that's the way he's splitting, right? So my
Yeah,
midfielder
yeah.
of five again will be Mark Anthony Kay, Kone Loturi, right winger Buchanan, left winger Davis, and then the three
Okay,
midfielders in the middle. So Loturi more like a ball winning midfielder. I'll do Kone more like a box to box, and Mark Anthony doing a box to box too, but more helping on the construction of the place on the left side because he's a left footed.
interesting.
That's kind of
You
a
made me
midfielder.
think now. You started to make me rethink. But okay, good lineup. So I think for my midfield, like I said, I'm thinking about the 5-3 sort of 5-3-2 for the most part. So for my three midfielders, I'm gonna have Jonathan Osorio on one side, um, and then Alfonso Davies on the other side, and then to right in the middle, I'd have. It's really tough. I'm thinking like Atiba or Kone, but I'm gonna go and say Atiba against Curaçao and Kone probably against Honduras. You know, fresher, younger legs, and then those are my three midfielders, and then for my forwards, pretty easy choice of Jonathan David, and I would honestly Buchanan works. Anyone would work right next to him or behind him, you know, in like sort of the hole right behind the forward. I think Davies could even work really well there,
Yeah.
but it would be nice to see Akinola. I have that pulled up here. Let's see Akinola's like
To be
career.
honest, he's not playing like I don't think he got many minutes this season. But I for
Yeah,
forward, I think I already mixed some good young players like McGill, Zator,
yeah,
Lottery,
that's
right?
what I tried.
So what I'm gonna do is for the forward,
Yeah,
I'm just gonna keep it simple and go with Sile Larry and Jonathan David. So that's the end of my three
yeah,
five two. The
yeah.
I think both are in great form. So giving them at least 60, 70 minutes each game is just gonna guarantee us goals. Like Sile Lawrence he's being amazing for Valladolid, and Jonathan David's one of the top scorers in Europe right now. So I think it's a no-brainer to use them. But I'll definitely explore Akinola and Brim on the second half.
All right, let's
Akinola,
do it.
Akinola for Larry and Brim for David. But yeah.
So just so we're all on the same page, let's go over it again. So I'll let you go over your whole lineup
Oh, you
again.
know what? You know what? Let's do it better. We'll put it on the
Hmm.
image right now, and while I'm
Oh,
putting,
there you go.
it's gonna be on the image. Your lineup and my lineup,
Nah,
then you guys can see it. Exactly, magic is there.
there you go. We'll do
Cool.
some magic. There you go. All right,
Cool.
there you go. So there's our lineups, folks.
Yeah.
Lots to be excited about. I feel like spring is right around the corner for
Quick,
most of. I mean, for some Canadians,
quick
not all of
prediction for
us,
each
but yeah,
game,
spring's right
Jamal.
around the corner.
Sorry for interrupting because we're gonna
Oh
wrap it
man,
close. It's
no,
getting close.
yeah, we got to wrap it up. Okay, so I'm gonna go 3-0 against Curaçao, and then we're gonna do a little 1-0 against Honduras in Toronto. Honduras is gonna be a tough game. I feel like it's been a while since the World Cup, and
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah, I think it's going to be 3-1 against Honduras, and since the first game is Curacao, I'll give it as a really basic 6-0, just because
holy,
yeah, we're not playing like
holy,
come on.
okay.
If you wanted to be competitive, you got to beat those teams by at least four, in my opinion. So,
I hope so. I
and
hope so.
just another
I hope
shout
so.
out
Okay,
to Word of Soccer in Calgary that gave us the gear.
represent.
You have your gear now, Jamal, because you came visit us here in Calgary. So next episode, you might as well wear it. Uh, but yeah, guys,
Yeah, always repping.
thanks for watching, and subscribe to the channel on the link below somewhere there. And yeah, peace.
Peace.